and he reached down as if to reach for something, and I panicked. I just panicked, and I ran to my car, which was parked within 10 feet, hit the button on the trunk, and got a rifle and just turned around and started firing. I am not a person of criminal intent, and I have regretted what I did from day one.
And he was hiding in the bushes. He had hidden the rifle in the shrubs, and he shot Michelle at close range. This is not a factual situation where he just grabbed the gun and started randomly shooting. She jumped in the car to try to escape, and then at close range, he shot her multiple times.
I am not a person of criminal intent.
Good morning. The Louisiana Committee on Parole is convening today's date is Wednesday, January 5th, February 5th, time flies. And we are hearing offenders at Louisiana State Penitentiary. Before we begin over there, I'd like for the staff here to introduce themselves.
Sure, they run Parole Williams.
Francis Abbott.
Thank you. How about the staff there at LSP? Would you please introduce yourself?
Lateral applications.
Deputy Ward Rochelle Amber.
Dalvin on the warden.
Harmon Shibley, offender records. Taylor Graphic classification.
Excellent.
Trish Foster, legal. Trish Foster and legal is here.
Right. Thank you so much. We appreciate you assisting us today. Our first order of business is to hear Mr. Butler. Mr. Butler, would you please introduce yourself and give us your DOC number?
Herbert Butler, 124959.
Thank you, Mr. Butler. We have a number of people here at headquarters in support. We also have some people in opposition. At the appropriate time, I will acknowledge those individuals. I see that you're also, you have counsel with you there today, Ms. Hutchinson, and at the appropriate time, you will be able to provide information to the panel. Mr. Butler, before we get started, I would like to hear from you first, sir. If you let me introduce the people you're going to be discussing with. This is Mr. Chuck Chillis to my left and Ms. Cheryl Renatza to my right. My name is Jerry Ledoux, and Mr. Chillis is going to be taking lead on your questions. But why don't you tell this panel why you're here today and why you think we should consider early release review.
Okay. I'm not a person of criminal intent. I'm a person that believes in doing the right thing, and I have a sincere desire to be an asset to my community. I know that what I did and the circumstances that led me here were terrible. And many times I wanted to reach out to Miss Shirley just to let her know that I was sorry for what happened, that I didn't go there that night to purposely shoot Michelle or to harm anybody. And I just wanted her to know that because I know that I totally upset her and little Louis' life by my acts. And I deeply regret that. Michelle and I were in a relationship. We had lived together in 2 different apartments. And I kept getting into quarrels with guys that was coming by there. So on one of those occasions, this gentleman that came by the apartment and he and I got in a fight. And after the fight, he went to his car, which was parked right by the apartment about 10 feet away. And he opened the car door and got a gun and turned around and started shooting at me. And after that, I moved out, but Michelle and I continued to see each other. And I was planning on going out of town one weekend, and I had called her and told her that I wanted to come by and pick up a passport radar detector because that's how, I was going to travel with it. And we had arranged for me to come by there to get it the next night. And so, because she was going to see the movies. And after the movies, I went there and I arrived a little bit before she got there. And when she arrived, she had a male date in the car with her. And when I walked up, she said, "Herb, what are you doing here?" And we began arguing because she knew why I was there. And the guy that was with her, he was still partially in the car though. And he reached down as if to reach for something. And I panicked. I just panicked. And I ran to my car, which was parked within 10 feet, hit the button on the trunk and got a rifle and just turned around and started firing. It was not my intention to go there that night to harm anybody, but this incident happened because of my own emotional shortcomings. And since then, I have thought about this thousands and thousands of times. I hate that I didn't make a better decision, and I regret my actions. And this, the rehearsal of this event have been going over and over in my mind so many times, and this actually led me to make a firm resolve to be a better person. Now I know that I can't replace what I took. I know that I can't replace that what I took, but I really hope that Miss Shirley and Little Lewis find it in their heart to forgive me for my actions. And I did take responsibility for this from day one. I never denied that I was the cause of this. I just, you know, I had book smarts. I knew how to pass tests, but I lacked social management skills. I didn't know how to handle my emotions. And I'm thankful for the programming that I've received here because I know that I can always be in control of how I feel, what I think, and my behaviors. And
Okay.
I know that I hurt Michelle's family, but I also hurt non-family members, especially that guy that was with her that night. I know this probably devastated his life. He didn't deserve that, and I deeply regret having put him through this. And I know that this is an opportunity for me. I mean, parole is not unilaterally granted to anyone. And forgiveness is not something that's just given, it has to be earned. And I want the board to know that I am not a person of criminal intent. And I have regretted what I did from day one. I wasn't created to kill. That's not who I was. And I just pray that Miss Shirley and Little Lewis consider me for who I was, because this made it even more devastating because these people were not strangers to me. We knew each other. And I'll never forget, after I was convicted, I turned around and I looked at Little Lewis. And this tragedy, I mean, I just hate I did this. I hate I did this. And I recognize the damage that I caused. I think that that's why I stayed in legal programs as long as I did, because my job required me to use my social management skills at its best. I mean, I've had to deal with people that were at their lowest, and it was sort of like my own self-imposed punishment because I had to, when people riled at me, I couldn't react to these things. I had to accept it and move on. And
Let me, for the record, you are a first-class offender. You have a life sentence which was commuted down to 99 years with eligibility for parole after 33. And your crime was a second-degree murder. You have a good time date of 11/30/2036, and your full term date is 5/10/2087. So those are the facts according to your master prison record. We have a number of people who would like to speak today. First of all, we're going to, Ms. Hutchinson, how would you like the family to speak? I have Michelle Lenore's sister who wishes to speak on the family. Is that?
Yes, ma'am. Michelle will speak on behalf of the family. Jeff is here, will speak as a friend, and then Kerry will speak as the Louisiana Parole Project.
Great, thank you. So Michelle, at this time, if you'll go ahead and step to the podium, address your comments to the board, and introduce yourself and your relationship, if you don't mind, please.
I'm Michelle Lenore. I'm the oldest sister on my maternal side. Dear members of the Parole Board, I stand before you today to express my unwavering support for the release of my beloved Purple, who is currently incarcerated at the Louisiana State Penitentiary. I, along with our family, friends, and church community, respectfully ask the board to grant him. We don't take it lightly as to the pain and the loss that was caused by the war. We hope that Michelle's family have found peace and can one day find it in their hearts to forgive him. We understand that the board is tasked with determining whether or not he is a threat to society and if he can become a productive citizen. I want you to know that he is not a threat to you. Herbert has been a model inmate during his 36 years of incarceration, and I believe he has demonstrated remarkable growth and rehabilitation. Herbert entered the prison system as a young man who made a grave mistake, for which he has accepted full responsibility from the outset. His taking the life of Michelle has weighed heavily on him ever since. Throughout his time in prison, Herbert has consistently expressed deep remorse for his actions, and he has dedicated himself to self-improvement and service to others. During his incarceration, Herbert has achieved a number of accomplishments that speaks to his character and commitment to change. To my understanding, he has had the same prison job for the last 32 years. That in itself is a testament to his ability. He has done his best to assist the inmate population and doing it in a very challenging environment. His role in the legal aid department highlights his dedication to helping others, even in the most challenging environments. Herbert's work has not only benefited those around him, but has also helped him develop the skills and empathy necessary to integrate into society. In addition to his legal work, Herbert has pursued education and personal development relentlessly. He became one of the Department of Correction first HIV/AIDS peer counselor, completed courses in American Sign Language, and earned certification as a paralegal. His participation in programs such as Alcoholics Anonymous, anger management, and the mandatory pre-release course further demonstrate his readiness for reintegration into society. Our family, friends, and church community stand united in our support of Herbert's release. We are prepared to provide him with a strong support network, ensuring that he has the guidance and resources necessary to successfully transition back into the community. Herbert has a deep desire to give back and to make amends for the wrongs of his past. And we pray he is afforded this opportunity to return home. Again, Herbert is not the same person he was 36 years ago. He is a man who has taken responsibility for his past, has worked tirelessly to better himself, and has demonstrated his commitment to living a productive and law-abiding life. We sincerely hope that you would consider these factors and grant him the opportunity to contribute positively to society once again. Thank you for your time and your consideration. Sincerely, Michelle and Wilson.
Thank you very much, Michelle. We also have there at the facility, Mr. Jeffrey Lewis, who would like to speak there at the facility. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to be able to speak on behalf of Herbert. I am a friend and a brother who was a formerly incarcerated inmate after serving 31 years, 4 months, 17 days, 22 minutes, and 14 seconds in prison. I realized life is all about the choices that you make. And I am an example of rehabilitation and making quality choices once I was released. But I thank God for Herbert's relationship and the friendship that we shared while I was incarcerated, that he helped me become the man that I am today. He helped me to better understand life choices and making quality decisions when I find myself encountering conflict inside the institution. He helped me morally to be a better person. He helped me spiritually to be a better person. He helped me academically when I had problems struggling to understand a lot of information that was given to me. And not only did he help me, he helped many other inmates in this institution to become better. And I thank God for brothers like Herbert, Norris Henderson, Chico Yancey, Ashanti Weatherspoon, Gary Tyler. These were the men that helped me become the man that I am. I've been out since January 2014. I work for the city. I'm a pipe fitter. I've been doing really good out there in society, making quality decisions, a part of my church community, and doing other events to help children make quality decisions about choices and consequences. But I'm saying all that to realize that we all make mistakes, and I pray that the board would give Herbert a second chance at life because of the bad choice he made, that it shouldn't be held against him. I sympathize with the family, and I know what it feels to lose someone you love, because while incarcerated, I lost my mother, I lost my father, I lost all my aunties and my uncles, and going through the stressful of being incarcerated, losing family members, Herbert also helped me to overcome those things. And I thank God for him. And I truly believe that he's an asset and not a liability. I truly believe that he's not the man that entered those gates that's going to lead these gates. I truly believe that he is a different person. I feel like that he's an asset to society, that he can make a difference academically, culturally, and socially. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. At this time, I will note that we have a number of people in attendance, both there at the facility and here at headquarters in support. If you'll allow, I'll dispense with reading all of those names, but there are quite a few people in support. Now, if Mr. Kerry Myers would like to speak with the Parole Project.
Thank you, Ms. Ledoux. Good morning, panel. Kerry Myers with Louisiana Parole Project here on behalf of Herbert Butler. I could reiterate everything that Michelle said and everything that Jeffrey just said, because I've known Herbert for more than 30 years. And I think what impressed me most about him was his willingness to give back, both in his community service and his work as a legal aid. Parole Project is absolutely prepared to provide services to Herbert should he be released by this board. 36 years is a very long time for incarceration. And while Herbert stands before you as a man with a background, an educated background, he has a lot to learn when he comes home. We've already secured employment for Herbert should he be released in the legal field. His skills kind of preceded him, and it wasn't difficult at all to find him employment in the legal field. Herbert will learn, though he has a heads up on technology from his work there. He'll continue to grow in that, in social norms, consumer skills. He'll have a mentor on a regular basis, guiding him through the roadblocks and the things that normally happen to someone who's been incarcerated for 30 or more years. And we would just ask this board to consider Herbert's record in its entirety, his sincerity here today, his acceptance of his actions, and grant his parole today.
Thank you, Mr. Myers. Ms. Hutchinson, would you like to wrap up?
Yes, thank you, board. Adrienne Hutchinson, attorney for Louisiana Parole Project, here representing Mr. Herbert Butler. I do believe Herb has done a good job in the beginning articulating both his remorse, accountability, rehabilitation. I think Michelle covered so much. Jeff talking about the character of the man before you, and Carrie gave you an overview of the opportunity that he has and his plans if he was allowed to re-enter society. One thing I would like to draw the board's attention to, and I put it in my brief, but there was transcript of from Judge Pitcher at the time when Herbert was sentenced. And at that time, he believed that Herbert would be able to use his intelligence to help others in the penitentiary. And had he not gotten into this predicament, he believed that Herbert would have been a good contribution to society. Herbert turned Louisiana State Penitentiary into his community and his society that he would better. Over the last 30 plus years, he's done legal counsel at Camp J, Death Row, some of the hardest places to work in situations to work in. Like Jeff said, not only is Herbert not a threat to society, but he has the opportunity at his age right now to go back and be an asset to society. Very few times do I get to help someone who's as self-aware as Herbert is. He understands that he can't replace the life he took, and he was able to understand his own emotional shortcomings. I think one of the things that came out at his previous hearing, his pardon hearing, at the time, he was described as the poster child for rehabilitation in the prisons. And that, I think, is a point that others strive to be. Herbert has given them that high benchmark. He has a drive to help others and to better himself. The selflessness of Herbert is apparent in his years of helping people do clemency applications, people who have gone home before him. And even as Jeff stated, he continues to support them while they're home. He's mentored groups that have come into the prison, and he's just given himself selflessly. He understands that no amount of time can be placed on a life, but today Herbert humbly asks this committee to recognize the amount of good and hard work that he's done throughout his incarceration. We humbly ask you to evaluate him on his record and his accomplishments, his growth, his rehabilitation, and his true remorse to Miss Michelle's family. We never start a meeting without him expressing that. As Carrie stated, Herbert's record in the legal field, the 19th JDC Public Defender's Office has submitted a letter that's included in your packet that shows that they would like to take Herbert into consideration for a position if he were to be granted parole today. So we ask you to look at all of this and take into consideration that Herb can be an asset to society if he were granted parole today. I'm available for any questions if the board has any questions or concerns going forward. Thank you.
Very much. We do have members of the victim's family, Ms. Shirley Poche, victim's mother, Louis Poche, the victim's brother, who are here and have opted not to speak. However, Ms. Tracy Barbera with the Assistant District Attorney's Office would like to speak, and we'll turn that over to you at this point, ma'am.
Good morning. Thank you. Tracy Barbera with the DA's office. I would just like to point out a few things that concern me from the pre-parole investigation that I've looked at. On page 114, it says that Mr. Butler began his victim awareness class October 15th of 2024. I don't know if that's a typo, but it's very concerning to me that this man who spent over 35 years in the Department of Corrections waited until just a few months before his parole hearing to take that class, which I believe is extremely important as part of his rehabilitation process. And Chairman Ledoux, as you stated at the very beginning, he does have an out date. He will be released on good time parole supervision in November of 2036 without a hearing. So the Louisiana law has already given him an extreme benefit in that his letters of life have been commuted to numbers with a known release date. Mr. Butler described himself as not a person of criminal intent, and he didn't go there to hurt her. And that is completely inconsistent with the evidence in this case. I know that the facts have to be considered in light of what he's done in prison, and he has done remarkable things in prison. But this morning, I submit to you, he is still not being truthful about what happened. And he was hiding in the bushes. He had hidden the rifle in the shrubs, and he shot Michelle at close range. This is not a factual situation where he just grabbed the gun and started randomly shooting. She jumped in the car to try to escape, and then at close range, he shot her multiple times. So I think part of his rehabilitation process needs to be acknowledging and admitting to exactly what he did and to stop trying to blame it on Anthony. And he needs to be truthful that he went there with the intent to harm her. And that's what he did. He killed her. So I would respectfully ask that you take into consideration his lack of true accountability and deny his request for parole today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rivera. I'd like at this point, Gordon, do you have a response in terms of the programming issue? Has Mr. Butler completed his?
We'll have to check and get that date. I don't have it in front of me.
This was the second
Victim awareness. Is somebody there?
We're looking for it.
Right. If I may, at his pardon hearing, it was said that he had finished victim awareness, but we couldn't find the certificate, so he took it again.
The victim awareness program was in the 100 hours module at that time.
Okay.
That's a good point.
So the victim awareness that's in the 100-hour pre-release module is a different victim awareness. It's more of a refresher course that he took. So the one that he took in 2024 has a portion of a victim accountability letter that he had to take. And I think that was something that at his last board that they suggested that he do. So
He took the original in 2016.
yes, sir.
Well, Warden Benoit, at this point, why don't you provide some comments about this offender? I know he's been with you.
Yes, ma'am. I've known him the 35, 36 years that he's been here. You know, just to echo what all the previous people have spoken about him. He's accomplished all that. He's been a model prisoner here at Angola for us. I've known him this whole time. I think he had a write-up 25 years ago, maybe. That was his last write-up. Only 8 since he's been here, I believe.
Mhm.
Yeah, only 8 DBs since he's been here. Absolutely no problem.
He's been a trustee for how many years?
29 years.
29 years as a trustee.
That's right. He lives over at Camp F. He's a Class A trustee.
Mr. Tillis, we're going to allow you to begin questioning.
Good morning, Mrs. Butler.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm okay.
I have your case. I've read through it several times. And you said something earlier in your statement. The guy that was there, he shot at you a couple of weeks.
Oh, this was a different guy. This wasn't the same guy.
Same guy. Okay. So someone else shot at you.
Yes, sir. And and they have police reports supporting that.
Okay. You said you went back to your car, and I read in the records that you went in some shrubbery to retrieve a gun to come back and shoot her or shoot them. Which was it? Did you go to your car or you hid the gun in some shrubbery?
Well, see, the way the parking lot was designed, about every 4 spaces, they had this shrubbery about 4 feet tall. And the guy that was with her, I can understand how he thought maybe I had a gun hidden in the shrubbery. The lighting wasn't very good. And I ran through the shrubbery and my car was just on the other side of it. And I hit the trunk and opened it and got the rifle. So I can see where he might have thought that I had a gun hidden in the shrubbery. It was in my trunk.
Okay. Were you on drugs at the time or were you doing drugs?
No, sir.
You weren't on drugs, you're clear-headed and everything.
Yes, sir.
What got me on this case, and I commend you on the progress you've made, is that you shot 10 times inside the car. recall how many times you,
It was 7 times.
7 times? Yeah, the record say it was 10 shots fired inside, and I think she was struck 6 times. And I see remorse in your statement today and everything, and I'm glad that you're doing well. I have no more questions.
Ms. Renata?
Good morning, Mr. Butler. Good to see you again. Can you
Yes,
tell us, why'd you have a gun in your trunk?
Because of the earlier shooting, I put the gun in my trunk. And also, I was also a hunter. And I was going to Mississippi that weekend to hunt, which is, it served 2 purposes. I come up in a culture where the guys rode around with rifles in the back of their windshield, and we did a lot of hunting. So I had a rifle. That's why I didn't have a handgun. It was for hunting purposes. But after being shot at, it also served as protection.
So we talked some about your participation in some victim awareness classes. Tell us what you got out of it.
Well, I was actually happy that I did that course twice. And one of the main things that this course helped me understand, it really puts image on the harm and pain that's caused to the victims. And the first thing we have to recognize is, it is recognition. We had to realize that we did something wrong. It wasn't the court's fault. It wasn't the judge's fault. Nobody is responsible for my being in prison but myself. Forgiveness, I don't believe forgiveness is something that can be unilaterally given. I think forgiveness has to be earned. With that said, we have our own definition of remorse in prison. It's a regret so intense that it causes you to change your life.
Right, but wait, we're talking about what you got out of the victim awareness class. And you said you realized the harm that you caused the victim's family, and you took that 2016. Was that the first time you realized all that harm?
I realized the harm that I had caused the immediate family, but I never considered the harm that I caused the non-family members, like the guy that was with her, or the harm that I caused to the community, dealing with everything from property values to people not wanting to live there anymore.
Right.
And those are things that I didn't realize until after that course.
Okay, thank you. I have no other questions.
I would like at this time for Mr. Tillis, are you prepared to vote?
Yes. In spite of the conditions that happened, and I'm glad to see you've made a big change and trying to turn your life around. The part I can't get over is that, and I was just thinking when Mr. Matza asked the question, that the guy, you went and got a gun because the guy left. I mean, you thought he was going to get a gun. And when you came back, you didn't shoot at him. And our records show that you shot 10 times into the car. My vote today is to deny.
Ms. Renata?
Well, Mr. Butler, when we were at your pardon hearing in 2019, I supported you then. I'm supporting you now. My vote today would be to grant your parole based on your low risk score, the comments by Warden Benoit then and now, the community service work that you have contributed to your community. My vote would be, though, that you do release to the Parole Project Transition Plan.
Mr. Butler, and I know that Ms. Hutchinson knows this and several other, we have close to 300 pages in our record that we've reviewed. And my number one task is to evaluate public safety first and foremost. And I believe that based on your conduct while incarcerated, you're very minimal threat to public safety. You have good rehabilitation, excellent conduct, and some plans for release. I look at everything evidence-based. It's a very evidence-based decision, and my vote would be to grant based on all of those things. You needed a unanimous. Today your request has been denied, and you will receive counsel on when you can write back for another hearing. Okay. So thank you so much.
Well, that's crazy, man. I was voting for his freedom. The dude took all them classes. He helped so many other prisoners. He's been a model inmate. Yeah, the story is sketchy on how it all went down. That's a little vicious, but he had a lot in his favor, and he's got a good back, and he had a lot of family and friend support. He did a lot, and I believe his parole should be based on who he has become since he's been incarcerated. It should be based on his rehabilitation. He's a violent offender, not a repeat offender. He's somebody who snapped and went crazy. Spur of the moment. I don't think he's a threat to society. He's a lot older now. He spent 36 years down. He lost 36 years of his life. Right, and somebody else lost their life. But I don't know. The vote went in 2-1. He needed it to be unanimous. It was not. Till next time, y'all. Enjoy your freedom. Peace.